Good evening and welcome back to UB's second edition of the Poetry Extravaganza.
Brought to you by the Black Jaguars Poetry Society in partnership with
The Love Foundation. I am your host, Aaron Palacio, and I am here with my new co-host,
Dilhani Gadoy. I'm currently studying at the University of Belize. I'm enrolled in their bachelor's program studying medical laboratory science.
What do you do with a medical laboratory science degree?
Poke you with a needle.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Okay, well, as I understood, last year you were a co-host and also a poet. How do you feel to be coming back as a co-host again, but without all the tedious work?
It's a little different, but it does feel nice and relaxing.
Okay.
There's not that much stress. It's not too hardcore or overwhelming, so it's a bit more fun.
Speaking of hardcore, our first poet today is a Black Jaguar by night and a Coast Guard by day.
What do Coast Guards do?
They protect Belize. Let's give Randy a warm welcome.
For protecting Belize.
And for presenting his poem.
Hello, my name is Randy Robert King Sr., also known as T.X. Bruce, the poet. This poem, Civil Unrest, was written on based on experience in 2005 when the riot in Belize City sprang out, and I was a part of the Belize Defense Force at the time. So I only wrote this poem as to capture what happened through my lens and to share the experience with you people that are listening, and I hope that you learn something today and that you enjoy this poem as well. Where we going, Albert Street, chanted the massive, young and old, but most alumni, bystanders, and street figures. The news reiterated at 1800 hours. Burning tires at 1600 hours. Belcan Bridge, siren on both sides. Bomberos, policia, y medicos. The brewing discourse and discontent exploded in the concrete jungle. Como una palometa, BAM! Screaming shutters, shattered showroom windows. The smell of gunpowder in the twilight night sky. Crawling blue, green bugs everywhere. Delta 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeping through the streets of the old capital. Burning city, curfew imposed. Looters, rioters, tear gas amidst the crisis. Belize town and the dark plague of anarchy. Meses y meses se fue the civil unrest. Muchos meses. Abajamos del martial law. Red light, blue light, city under siege. A veces sentí como nunca terminó. Pero en septiembre todo es normal. Libre la situación. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. That was such a wonderful poem.
I know, it was so powerful and moving with it, especially when you did the BAM. I feel like I'm gonna drop through the floor.
But you know, Aaron, that's the wonderful thing about poetry. It allows us to express ourselves and share different life experiences.
Speaking of that, we would like to welcome our first guest poet, Miss Ixchel Pot.
And Miss Pot is no stranger to the creative arts.
I know, because in 2015, she won the Belize Literary Prize, and then in 2019, she started and hosted the Rhythm and Lyrics, an evening of poetry.
And in 2022, she created the Writers Circle, which is basically a safe space for writers to come together in Belmopan and for them to share their different ideas.
So please welcome to the stage, Miss Ixchel Pot.
Let's give her one.
Hi, my name is Ishtal Pot. I am a poet and a writer. I've been writing since I've been 10 years old, so that's over 20 years. I enjoy writing poetry because it gives me the ability to express my emotions, my thoughts, not only about the things that I am feeling, but also about the things that are impacting my community, my world, and the way I see things. Poetry is often the way I find to center myself and to express what are the things that are utmost on my mind. City Streets I wrote in 2005. I was transitioning from my job in Belize City, moving back to Belmopan, and for the very first time, I started to think about a young boy and a girl that I would meet at the bus station every Friday and buy 2 meat pies and an orange juice for. And so when I finally was no longer commuting, I wrote City Streets. A small boy stands in the city streets and holds out his hands to those he meets. And there is a pause in time as I search my pockets for a dime to place in his hand so that I can pretend to understand what he is going through. And I don't know if this happens to you. The minute he gets out of view, it is out of sight and out of mind until the next time I'm on that street. Maybe we meet. And then there is a pause in time as I search my pockets for a dime to place in his hand so that I can pretend to understand what he is going through. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Pot, for such a meaningful poem. Brace yourself, everyone, because our next lineup of poets starts off with someone who may be small but has a very big message. Her name is Miss Ashira Ihinio.
My name is Ashira Ihinio and my poem is entitled The Cost of Things. It was inspired from my eavesdropping assignment whereby we were tasked to sit in a public place and listen to the conversation that took place around us. So this is my interpretation. I hope you enjoy. Inside our stores, stories unfold. You hear about the cost of things and the burden people hold. You hear about their worries, their hopes, and their hospitality. All of this in a conversation, including how expensive everything. But from all of this, community forms strong, supporting each other the way we belong. In our unity, we will face what life will bring, and in all of this, we will find strength to sing. Thank you.
My name is Shelly Akhtar, and this poem is basically about loneliness, which everyone experiences. There was a time I felt so small, when no one seemed to hear my call. I felt so lost, so out of place, and tears streamed down my lonely face. I searched for comfort, for a friend, someone to hold me till the end, but all I found was emptiness, and every day was such a mess. But then I realized deep inside that I can be my own best guide. I picked myself up, dusted off, and found the strength to stand and scoff. Now I know I'm not alone, that I can make this life my own and have the power to be free and live my life the way I see. Thank you.
Hello, my name is David Awe, and this is a poem I wrote inspired by the economic state of Belize right now. Oh, sweet Belize, my home, my sanctuary, where my beliefs lie. Oh, how you have suffered, stripped, raped, devoid of what you once were and of what you were to be. Oh, how I regret that I no longer wish to be here. Oh, how you regret that you could not quell that desire. Oh, sweet Belize. Thank you.
All right, that was a great set of poems, but if you think we're done, no. The night's just getting started, and we would like to thank the first set that just presented, and we would like to welcome the second set onto the stage. We will start this off with Miss Yasnique Flores. Please give a round of applause or snap your fingers, and we welcome her to the stage.
Hello everyone, my name is Yasnik Flores. My poem is entitled Homicide Not Suicide. This poem was taken from my poetry portfolio whereby we had to write a poem based on the news. 52-year-old Danielle Paraton murdered by the child she nurtured. Monday morning in San Ignacio Town, they found her dead, lying down. She died of asphyxia caused by compression to the neck. Paraton's daughter, Mawu, was the first suspect. Mawu proclaimed it was a suicide, but pathologists revealed it was a homicide. Mawu wanted to flee the nation but was stopped by immigration and taken to the station. No one really knows what occurred that night, but something is definitely not right. Manslaughter was her charge for doing something so at large. Thank you.
This poem is about the invasion of privacy, the violation of privacy. It is an original poem, and by writing it in a poem, it was a way of expressing that emotion and that feeling. So the poem's name is Never Safe. There is a monster outside my window. Looming outside the pane, he leaks into my dreams, violating my room of indigo. En una noche tan lindo, why would you corrupt the night so serene? Grabbing muddy hands, tearing down my window. Every corner, every crevice, covered by his shadow. My mind cowers from sleep, reminiscent of the monster outside my window. He needs not the door, he needs not the window. He lives inside the house, he lives inside my mind. Paranoia has me by the toe, and he'll never let me go. Thank you.
So Morning Fun is an original poem, and it is one of the first poems I did in class, and it was inspired by the early mornings that I enjoy, you know, the cup of coffee and maybe some pancakes and some toast. I hope you enjoy this poem. Every morning I arise. Every morning I rub my eyes. Looking in the corner, I squint trying to adjust my vision. Still vague and unaware, I go outside, taking in the wind of the air, greeting my family as I make breakfast, carefully spreading the cheese on my toast, while looking over my craft, feeling engrossed. I enjoy a cup of coffee or cappuccino on cold days. It feels as if I'm in a haze. Knowing the morning will go by quickly, I gobble up my breakfast ever so slickly. Goodbye, morning routine. I must make my way. I must make my way ever so briskly. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that poem. Aaron, I don't know about you, but I feel so inspired right now. I feel like picking up paper and going to write my own poem.
Or we could save the environment, save the trees, and use a computer or a tablet. Whichever which.
Fair enough. Let's move on into something a bit more cultural.
When you say cultural, I think about hudud. That's how I think about my people.
Think about the cultural capital.
Yeah.
Well, I think you might be spot on. Let's introduce Miss Ashira Ihinio. Let's welcome her.
My next poem is an original poem, and it was inspired by the beautiful Garifuna culture. Voices blend in harmonies embrace, telling story of a resilient race. With every tone, a vibrant history. Garifuna music, a cultural mystery. Thank you. So Ichigo is a literary forage, and it is inspired by an anime called Bleach. and I really enjoyed the development of the main character, and I hope you enjoy this poem. Reaching out for my blade, ready to protect the vulnerable, those who are unable to fight. Onto the battlefield I march, with only one goal set in stone. Harbor the broken souls, lead them to safety, give them a ray of hope. Let their hearts beat as one. Never again will they falter. Thank you.
This poem is entitled Belize. I was inspired to write about this poem because I wanted to share about my beautiful nation, Belize. As a student at this national university, I am a proud Belizean. Belize, a land where cultures blend as one, with hearts as radiant as the morning sun. Our tapestry of voices, diverse and free, in harmony we shape our destiny. With hands extended and spirit strong, we build a future where we all belong. For Belize, our home, we proudly stand, united and determined, hand in hand. Thank you.
I assume as a med student, you would know like the intricacies of presenting poetry and how stressful and tiring it could be.
I mean, you have a point. We'll continue.
Yeah, because it really take a lot, and it take a lot of courage to be able to present poems. Like you write something very personal, and then you have to present it to a lot of people. And so that took a lot of guts, and we would like to hear some testimonials from said poets and how they feel about this experience as they're working through this.
Poetry is not just about rhyming, but also there are different types of poetry that you could ignite your flames or fires or even dry ice to move forward.
It is so interactive. We get to do a lot in class.
It has also given me a lot of bravery to hide behind poetry and write what I need to write.
I enjoyed the experience of writing my own poems and letting my creative juices flow and taking the time to actually think about what I want to write.
With all those poems written, I was able to cultivate my finest poems.
I feel like we had the freedom and the liberty to just write whatever we wanted to, and Miss Casey provided music for us to get those creative juices flowing even more. So I really appreciated that.
At first, I wasn't really interested in poetry. Eventually, I became somewhat good at it.
I enjoyed it. We had many different activities. Miss Ima would bring the energy.
One of the things I learned was that be comfortable or saying what you learn and putting it into writing was great.
It allows me to indulge my passions of crafting poetry.
For our final exam, the presentation, at first it was hard, I won't lie. I faced one of my favorites, which is public speaking and speaking in front of a mic.
I hope that someday we get to do it again.
So my experience with the recordings, it was nerve-wracking at first, but over time I composed myself and I ended up doing the best that I could, and I feel like I did great in that.
The only thing that bothered me was the remembering the poems, because that was a little difficult, but I was able to get over it and it came out great.
I felt slightly nervous, but I can get through.
Overall, I still have anxiety and all that, the talk in front of camera, but I'm really happy that it kind of ignite my energy in writing again. Drunk as a skunk, the man sits in the bar, claiming to be no one less than Dan the man. I raised him on my own, I tell you. Father and mother are both in one. A lie. I am not like other man. I let them talk to her even though she not deserve it for what she done. the bare minimum. I could have kept them from her, let them hate her, fill their little mind with lies. You did. But I choose to be better, you know. My darlings deserve better. They did. Later that night, after dragging himself back home, the man, the king, aloft his throne, beat the youngest one sore. My darlings, he said, you deserve better. Thank you.
My next poem is titled King Stoicism, and it is an ekphrastic poem that I wrote as an assignment based off of a fictional character who I believe all leaders of the world should be. I am a rock devoid of emotion, immovable. I never sway, nor do I falter. Gentle, never shall I harm another. Never shall I claim to love God but hate a brother. Always I shall strive to be kinder to others. Unyielding, in life's vast sea, a symbol of resilience for all to see. Thank you.
This is my mentor, my sister. I really appreciate her in my life. Without her, I wouldn't have been here pursuing my degree in English. My mentor, my sister, by my side. In life vast sea, you are my guide. With every challenge, with every dream, you are the one who will make the best team. In your laughter, in your care, I found strength beyond compare. Through ups and downs, thick and thin, your mentor who always been. Your wisdom shines a guiding light in the darkest hours in the night. With your love and support so true, you have helped me in all that I pursue. My sister, my mentor, you are the best. Through life trail, you have passed the test. In your presence, find my way, forever grateful, come what may. Thank you.
This poem was started in a class session with our instructor at the University of Belize doing creative writing poetry. But what I did, I took that poem from that session and extended on it as part of an eavesdropping assignment given by the instructor. This turned out to be, I believe, one of the best poems that I've ever written. And I hope that you learned something from it today and you enjoy it as well. From the top, B flat, the rest of the beat drop. Faster and faster in tune, the beat stop. The beat, it's hot, coursing through our veins. It can't stop. Melancholic music, songs like Beethoven. Only this time, it's black. Cultural shock. After that, now tenor strumming in sync. Change a beat, continuous, one beat after another. Singing intimately, sweating profusely. Everyone is gyrating and frolicking. Again, cultural hip-hop. The music start up again. Right back on the beat. Music cures, music heals. Any, it retires, it reignites the soul. Then the music descends. Final chord, melancholic, smiles, wind downs, hugs, embraces, lower heart rates, soul meet floor, music stop, guitar stop, awaken. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. We're entering our last segment tonight. But what better way than to end the night with our guest poet? Let's welcome back Miss Ixchel Pot.
This poem I wrote in 2012. A friend of mine encouraged me to enter a poetry competition for 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And I struggled with the competition, but in doing some research, I came across a story about a young girl who was more or less my age. She was the third in her family. She had 3 brothers just like I did. She was a writer, and I read her story about the situation she had been in and how she had been able to overcome that situation. But for the very first time, I began to realize that issues like gender-based violence, issues like violence against women, issues like vulnerabilities could also impact me personally. And so I wrote, I could be her and she could be me. I could be her and she could be me. I have judged her more times than he has shoved her, spoken her name in disgust and disdain, and claimed in my condescending voice that my choice would never land me in her shoes. I knew exactly who to choose. But then the tides turned, and I learned to sit subdued as his voice thundered, and slowly I surrendered pieces of my pride as I tried to hide what was happening. And every word was a sting. And the day he grabbed my dress with emotions less than a lover's caress, I died 1,000 deaths and took the blame to hide my shame. He no longer holds back the urge to slap me across the face, leaving black and blue traces of his devotion. And I have cried oceans of tears. And finally, I see that I could be her and she could be me. Thank you.
Aaron, can you believe we're finally at the end?
I know it's been a long and fun night, but it was fun listening to all these young, aspiring poets, hearing what they have to say, hearing things from their perspective, because a lot of times no one really looks at their perspective.
That's true. On behalf of the University of Belize and the Faculty of Education and Arts, we'd like to give a warm thank you to the Love Foundation for supporting us and allowing us to be expressive and creative. Thank you.
And of course, we cannot forget to say thank you to the poets who have presented us, because without them, this wouldn't even be a thing. And so we would like to express our gratitude towards them as well, and we hope that they continue to write poems.
We can't end this event without recognizing 2 guest lecturers, Miss Jackie Burns for assisting once again through her passion for poetry, and Mr. Ubaldi Mir Guerra, who provided insight on the delivery of poems.
We would also like to thank Miss Casey for doing a lot of behind-the-scene work. A lot of this would not have been done without her, and that little extra magic that she put into it.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out and watching. Hopefully, we'll see you again next year as your host and co-host. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your day.